Hey guys, I'm Pixel Dan, and this is a review of the Masters of the Universe Classics, Eternos Palace King Randor. Or, in other words, a King Randor based on his appearance in the classic Filmation animated series. This variant of Eternia's King has received very positive reactions at recent conventions where he was revealed. So let's take a look at this figure to see if he lives up to that hype. Randor comes in the same styled Masters of the Universe Classics blister card packaging, fully showcasing the figure within. The back of that package shows off a selection of other figures available in the Classics line, as well as gives us a brand new bio for King Randor. Alright, so let's take a good look at Randor outside of the packaging. First thing to notice is that the head on the figure is the same that was featured on the first release of King Randor, which makes sense and is, after all, a very good sculpt, featuring that mighty beard. This time around, the crown atop his head is more of a yellow color rather than the gold that it was before. This yellow, of course, is to better match the animated appearance. His outfit is new this time, as instead of the armor version on the first release, this one is wearing his attire more suited for the throne room. He has a long blue robe with puffy blue sleeves on his upper arms. The shirt and skirt piece underneath are red, while his pants are a bright orange. He also features new blue boots on his feet. All of the colors used are very vibrant, which, like the crown on his head, are to resemble the animated appearance. But even with those bright colors, there is still a good amount of shading seen on the blue robe and the red shirt underneath, and the paint job is very well done on the entire figure. Around his neck is a gold necklace with a small pendant. The chain piece is accomplished with a piece of shiny gold string, which is strung through a plastic pendant piece. Alright guys, so let's take a closer look at the Eternos Palace King Randor. So, the robe piece that he's wearing is a separate accessory that you can take off of the figure if you want to. He does have like these big old puffy sleeves that are sculpted onto the arms, so you kind of have to maneuver the robe off of that, but we'll take it off here just so we can kind of get a closer look at what's going on underneath here. So you take that off, of course it's just the softer type plastic that we've seen a lot of the other armor pieces or robe or cape pieces made out of. But when you take it off, of course, you've got the blue puffy pieces of the sleeves up there that are still attached, so it looks kind of goofy taking it off because the sleeves are still there. But you can see that that's just how the upper arms are molded on this particular figure, and the articulation does still have the ability to go up. It does cut off about halfway up the arm there, but it's not so bad. So as far as everything else goes, it's pretty similar to what we've already seen before. The head turns left, right, up, and down. You can see that necklace piece kind of dangling around there. That can be removed if we just take off Randor's head here. You can just take off the little necklace piece, and like I said, that is just a little piece of gold string. You can actually see the knot tied right there, and it's kind of fitted so that the little pendant piece just hangs right down there in the middle. That way it just kind of drapes right over his neck. And then when you've got the head on it, it keeps it in place. So there you go with that. Alright, torso articulation is still the same on there. Turns left and right. He still will be able to turn left and right, and the torso articulation works good even with the robe piece on. Now he does have this skirt part going around the bottom there. And while it is a softer, pliable plastic, there are no slits in the side. So this is going to be kind of the same as what we saw with like She-Ra 1.0. His legs can't go outwards at all because the skirt completely hinders that, which means he's not going to be able to ride Battle Cat or Swift Wind or anything like that if you wanted to. Plus, the legs don't go forward very far, so he's also not going to sit in a Wind Raider or anything too well. You can position it so that you could probably get him in there. It just doesn't work as good as he would if he didn't have that skirt thing in the way, hindering the articulation. But otherwise, the knees still move the same. And then the feet, you can see got those cool looking new feet there. The ankle joints do show in the front because of the way that the feet are positioned, but you don't have the little ankle knobs in the sides there. And the ankle articulation is nice and tight. You can see it moves up and down very nicely, and it's tight, so they're not loose, and he doesn't have any problem standing whatsoever. So there we go. There's our King Randor.
King Randor includes 2 accessories. First up is a yellowish gold spear. This is the same spear we saw with the Grayskull weapons rack and Whiplash, but is also cool because the vintage Randor figure has this spear as well, so it works out quite nicely. Of course, since this is more of a throne room Randor, I do find swapping this spear with the staff that came with the original Randor to be a bit more of a better fit. The second accessory is really cool. It's a metallic gold chalice, complete with some purplish red liquid sculpted inside, as if he's drinking wine, or grape juice. The cup is vac metallized and looks incredibly nice. So far, I haven't had any problems with the gold flaking off, which is really good. And it fits nicely in either hand, and really makes for a fun and unique little accessory. Alright guys, it's comparison time. We're just going to compare him to the previously released version of Randor in Classics. The first version was based more on his appearance in the original toy line, so you can really see the difference between these two. Same head sculpt, but the rest looks quite a bit different. But as I said earlier, this kind of gives you the option of having a Randor in his throne room attire, or a Randor armed up and ready for battle. So there you go, guys, a look at the Eternos Palace King Randor. I really love this figure, and I'm so happy to add this particular version of Randor to my collection. I was one who didn't really mind the toy-based version that we already had, but growing up with the Filmation cartoon series, this is definitely the way I've always pictured this character. Now, there have been many versions of King Randor over the various media, but I do feel like this is the more iconic, and I think it was an excellent choice for a figure by Mattel. Eternos Palace King Randor is part of the 2012 Eternian Collectors Club subscription and will be available on MattyCollector.com November 15th, 2012. Until next time!